It's not, man. I haven't talked for a while. No, I'm good now. Good morning. It's good to see everyone. It's good to be here again for another year with you. And we're so excited. Like Paul said, we're so excited about the week. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great because God can do incredible things with a few people. Is this not on? No, it's not. Fan the flame. We're going to be talking about getting each other going. And Hebrews 10:22 through 25, we read, I'll let you get there. Hebrews 10:22 through 25. And this is our text as we go through to think about as we go through these points. So 22 in Hebrews 10 reads, "Let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, with our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. And let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering. For he who has promised is faithful. Let us consider how to stir one another up to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as a habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near." Fanning the flame. I know that most of you know how to start a fire. Excuse me. Oh, you're getting doubles. Getting doubles. I know that most of y'all know how to start a fire, and I'm not the greatest at it. But give me diesel or something like that. I'm good. But we have a friend. We always go camping with these friends that we met a long time ago, almost a little more than 30 years ago. So it's we go camping every year somewhere. They live in Medill, Oklahoma. We find a place 3.5 hours, because 3.5 hours from each of us. And I always think it's interesting. Our friend, always does a fire. And he sells wood, so he brings a pickup full of wood with us, and he just keeps that going. At night, he lets it die down, but he doesn't throw water on it or anything. Most of the time, we are not in a place anyway, so I have gotten up earlier than him, and I'm waiting, and he gets up, and he just starts stirring up the fire, stirring up the coals. And eventually he has the fire going again. It's not enough. He rekindles the fire. And it's not enough to just light with a match and throw some wood on it. It takes a while for him to do this, but it's fascinating to me. And I know, again, there are people in here who they're like, you may be like, well, okay, what's the big deal about that? But to me, it's a big deal. A lot of things to me are big deals. But he didn't throw a match on it hoping that it would start back up. He had to poke, he had to shift, he had to fan it. And then once those flames came back, he started adding wood. And that's exactly what the Hebrew writer is getting at, to combat the possibility that our brothers and sisters might be discouraged in our faith. And I know sometimes we are. We get discouraged, and so we need to be stirring one another up to rekindle the fire. So a lot of times, I know for me at least, I'm tempted to just give up, tempted to walk away because things aren't going well spiritually or whatever. But the Hebrew book was written to Jewish Christians. They were facing persecution. They were discouraged at times, and a lot of them were tempted to fall away from and go back to the old law. So Hebrews chapter 10, 19 through 25, the Hebrew writer is urging those people to remain faithful, to hold fast to the hope we read, and so importantly, to help one another, to stir one another up to good works. So Christianity, what we can read in Hebrews 10:25, Christianity is an intentional action. Christianity isn't passive. We just don't become Christians to go, well, you know what? We've been baptized. We're good. Because we've got to get going. And so we're going to look at 3 ways. I picked up the recorder instead of that. Wouldn't have worked. But we're going to look at 3 ways to rekindle our faith. And so the first one is to communicate with one another. And that's one of the most difficult things at times, to keep our communication lines open. And it's easier today with texting and with group chat and things like that. It's so much easier today to be able to do that. On August 23rd of last year, the Dutch domino team achieved a new record. They toppled 851,443 dominoes in that competition. They set a new amateur record. One of the most effective ways to love and good works is by the words we speak. So it's the domino effect to each other. Words have power. I shut that off?
It says it so simple.
Yeah, I know, but I always do it. I didn't breathe into it, but it'll come back. Oh, here it is. Anyway, so the domino effect. Words have power. We can build or break. Speaking life in life means to use our mouths to encourage. Hopefully, Christians need to be doing that, because we can use our mouths to discourage, but we use our mouths to encourage. We use our mouths to uplift each other, to lift each other up, to motivate each other, to motivate our brothers and sisters to get going. And we need to be getting going. And so we do that, and I believe, and I've seen it, and you've seen it too, the domino effect. You encourage someone, and you encourage them enough, and they might change their mindset from discouragement to encouragement. But unlike, you take the opposite of the domino effect, as far as Christianity, you lift someone up, and you'll be lifted up. And so on and so on and so on. The reverse domino effect. Instead of knocking down, we're picking up. And we read in Proverbs 16:24, pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the bones. Our communication with each other needs to be positive. Are there times when we need to correct each other? Absolutely. But for the most part, when we're discouraged, we need to come together and encourage each other. We have Colossians 4:6, let your speech. Now, notice there's a word there in that scripture. Let your speech always be grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer one another. Well, how should you answer one another? With grace and just pleasant words, as far as Proverbs 16:24 is concerned. Now, there are problems that come up, or there are hindrances that come up as far as doing this. And so we're going to talk about some hindrances. First of all, a culture of negativity. Let's go over to Philippians 4:8. We live in a world Philippians 4:8. We live in a world that glorifies or celebrates criticism more than encouragement. We live in a world that when someone falls down, or someone maybe they get in an accident, or kids are beating an adult up, or vice versa. What happens? Do we stop that negativity? Hopefully we will. But you know what happens? Most phones come out, and recordings start, and it's put online, and it gets a lot of hits because a lot of people want to see that negativity. But we need to be encouraging. So we need to focus on thinking and speaking. Philippians 4:8, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think on these things. And you might have in your translations, meditate on these things. And there's a word that I translate. I use the word looping on things, but in a negative way, it's called ruminating. And it can be negative, but it can be positive. To loop on things. You get something in your mind and it just won't come out. We might call a song an earworm, in the sense that you hear a song and you can't get it out of your mind. You're ruminating, or you're looping on that song. And the best way that they say to get out of the earworm mode is to, in your mind, finish the song. That's what I read. Finish the song. And I don't know. I don't know if it works or not because I get those songs anywhere. So a culture of negativity, that's a hindrance. And then another one is unawareness. Ooh, this is a big one. Unawareness. And we've got to teach ourselves. Set a guard, Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. How many of y'all ever said the wrong thing to someone? How many of y'all have ever said the dumb thing to someone? Because I can think through probably recently as well, the dumb things, the careless things, the things that I've said because I'm just not aware of what people need to hear. And I'm prone to saying what they don't need to hear, what they shouldn't hear. And so you have that unawareness. And so, but there are blessings that come there are blessings that come when we learn to communicate with each other consistently, positively, and just encouragingly, words of encouragement. What are the blessings? What are the benefits? We reflect Christ's character. We reflect Christ's character. Because that's what Christ did. Now, did he have to correct some people? Yes, he did. Was he forceful? Yes, he was. But for the most part, his words were so encouraging. And sometimes they're interesting ways to say it, but if people brought him a demon-possessed person and then he rebuked the demon, those are encouraging words to the demon-possessed person or the people around him. So there are times when we have to be firm, but we reflect Christ's character when we're gentle in our speech, when we're caring, when we're of a mindset that what I say should be godly words, encouraging words, because Christ, that's how he communicated. That's how he communicated. We heal instead of harm. There's one who speaks like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise promotes health. Now, does this say that if someone's sick, you can come up and start saying, you should get better. I love it when you're healthy, blah, blah, and then they're going to be healthy. No. What kind of health would it promote? And this is for us to talk about. What kind of health would it promote if we're speaking wise words, caring words to someone? What kind of health? Yes?
Mental and spiritual.
Yes, mental and spiritual. Thanks, Links. Think about that. Promotes health. Someone is down, someone is in darkness, and someone is just suffering, and we come up. You know what? What are the most effective things that you can say to someone who is down, suffering spiritually, or mentally, or emotionally? What are the best things that it could be anything. I don't have specific answers. What are some of the best things you can say to these people to help restore their health? Mental health, emotional health, spiritual health.
I'm here for you.
Oh, nice. I'm here for you. That's hugely important. Because someone who's going through these times that we've talked about, they're lonely. And they can be surrounded by 100 people and they're still lonely. But if someone comes up and says, I'm here for you, no matter what, I don't care. I don't care, what you're going. I care what you're going through, but it doesn't matter to me what you're doing, who you're being. I am here for you. How you're hurting, I'm here for you. What else? What else are some things we can say to people? To restore? Huh? Ooh, that's a huge one. If someone came up to you and you're going through hard times or whatever, it doesn't even have to be that. There's a lady at church, Joanne Criswell, who every Sunday after services, she leaves, the invitation song is sung, and then the last song, so then we have a prayer, and then we have a last song and a prayer. During the last song, she leaves. She's in her 90s, I think, and she has to get home. It's a 20-minute drive, but she always stops before services and after. She'll come up to me before as well. I've prayed for you all week. And I pray that your sermon will be effective and that you'll have good study and peace of mind. And then when she leaves, she's just so encouraging. And then a lot of times I get a letter in the mail from this lady to our family or to me, just saying, I pray for you every day, and I appreciate you. And I mean, those are incredible motivating words. Not that you're after the praise, but I'm praying for you. Something she said every time I see her. And that is huge for us. What else? Anything else?
You matter.
Oh, nice. You matter. You matter to me. You are an important person in my life. And I care about you because you matter. You matter to me. Because some people feel like they don't matter to anyone. They feel like they're worthless and that no one cares about them. But if you say, I'm here for you, you say, I'm praying for you, and you say you matter, that can change someone's life and restore spiritual, mental, and emotional help. Yeah, David.
And sometimes it's not the words that you say, it's what's not said, just listening to them.
Yeah.
That's all they need is just that ear to talk to, that shoulder to lean on. You don't have to say a word,
Right.
just be there for them. Let them talk.
Uh-huh.
Don't question them. Don't reply, just listen.
Just listen.
Sometimes that's all it takes is just to listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just, I'm here for you, talk to me. Or it might be sitting in silence with them, and they might need to, yeah.
If you need anything, I'm there for you.
Oh yeah, if you need anything, I'll get it for you. I'll do it for you, whatever. Because caring about people means being there for people. And so, which is the next thing. No, it's not the next thing. Because the next thing is working shoulder to shoulder. That's how we'll encourage. That's how we'll motivate. Because when you're several years ago, you can tell that I don't anymore, but I used to work out every day, go to the Y. We'd get there at 5:30. I had 2 friends that I would meet. And when we worked out together, so motivating. Because they're working hard and I'm working hard. We might be in competition or whatever. Then they quit going, and I couldn't go in that early anymore. I'd go in the afternoon without them. And eventually I quit. Because I didn't have that shoulder-to-shoulder work. And that is huge. And you think about Nehemiah 1 through 10. These people are rebuilding the walls, and they're working shoulder to shoulder. And they get it done in an insane amount of time. Someone alongside someone stirs them to do more than they thought they could. That's true. Whether it's cleaning the church building or mentoring youth or whatever, showing up to support a grieving family that you're talking about, or just serving connects this makes connections, and it encourages us to grow. Galatians 6:2, bear one another's burdens, so fulfill the love of Christ. Can I bear your burdens if I don't know what they are? I can't. Can I bear your burdens if we never see each other or talk to each other? I can't. But we can bear each other's burdens if we communicate with each other, if we let each other know what I'm going through. And your prayer list is the time here. Instead of a prayer list, maybe we could call it a burden list, because other things that we need to be bearing for each other. Now, on the flip side, what do we have to do? We want to give that encouragement. We want to bear, but what do we need to do on the flip side?
Be willing to receive.
Yeah, be willing to receive. And for some of us, it's really hard to accept help and encouragement. It's help and encouragement. And so, comfort zones. We like to serve in easy ways, don't we? We like to, is that 2 Timothy? I think I jumped ahead. Anyway, where did I go? Hindrances should be there. There you go. Busyness. I just don't have time. Philippians 2:3-4. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness in mind, let's esteem each other. What's that mean? Let's raise each other in our minds. Let's raise each other higher than ourselves. Others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. I just don't have time. Someone needs you. I don't have time. Someone needs you. I just got comfortable. Someone needs you. It's 2 a.m. But if someone needs us like that, We need to hop to it because that's a privilege. And then comfort zones. Who has comfort zones? Man, I know. You know what's hard? The first thing that we do when we get here is to go out and we give flyers. Yesterday we had about 800 flyers to give out of the town, and y'all are welcome to help anytime. But sometimes someone's outside. How do you feel about some of us? Like, I get nervous, but you do it anyway. But I've got to step out of my comfort zone. And by nature, I was raised to be. I'm an introvert. Naturally, you just have to get out of it, get out of the comfort zone. But I'm amazed at someone like our young men. If they've never led a song or never led a prayer or whatever, and I usually, what do I ask? I don't ask. I just walk up, links, you've got the song, button, you've got the prayer. And it gets them out of their comfort zone. And I so much admire that they're willing to do that. I love that about them, that they're willing to do it. Comfort zones. But there are blessings. Benefits. Bring the Lord's body, the church, together. You get out of your comfort zone, you talk to people, you interact with people, and with each other, and we will bring each other closer, and we'll reach out in the community and bring each other. We just got to get past that comfort zone and talk about our problems. And then we need to, it multiplies good works as well. It multiplies good works. Amy has this idea, my wife, and it's a good idea. If we were all like her and Remington and Ed, it's a good idea that if we work for 15 minutes each, if there are 4 of us, 15 minutes each, we'll get an hour's worth of work done. And we'll get so much done. It's like working for an hour, 15 minutes. And it makes sense if you have all 4 people saying, yes, 15 minutes, let's go. But some of us, I'm not going to mention names. I don't have to. But some of us are like, 15 minutes? I can't work that fast. I can't, But if we all had that attitude, then we would get stuff done. If we all had the attitude of let's just work together instead of one at a time, we will multiply the good works. What's next? Oh, we have this. Be there for one another. This is the next one. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, comfort each other, edify each other, build each other up. That's what that means. Just as you are doing. Why would Paul need to tell the Thessalonians that they need to do this when they're already doing it? Can you do enough as a Christian? You can't do enough. Is there a time when you go into your house, you've been doing stuff for the church or doing stuff for the community, and you walk in and you say, I have done enough. I don't need to do anything else. I don't, whatever. No, we'll never be done. We should always have this burning desire in us. We can do more because we can always do more. So Paul says, hey, y'all Christians, you're doing great, but now comfort each other and edify one another. No, we've been doing it. Yeah, keep on doing it. Do it more. Do it more. Be there for one another. Pilots will say when they get behind someone and they're backing someone up in battle or some aerial warfare, what did they say? They're going to take care of them. They're going to watch over them. What did they say? I've got your 6. And we need to do the same thing and just let each other know, I've got your 6. If you fall down, I'll pick you up and we'll work together. If you get tired, I will. You can't stir someone up from a distance because physical presence matters. Can we write cards? Yes. Can we? But picking someone up, there's power in being there, like Darren said. There's power in worshiping together for Bible study, being in each other's lives, and you think about your presence. How many of you are encouraged when people come, when you have a large group of people coming to services, interacting with each other, laughing and loving? One of my favorite sounds to hear before worship is just people talking and laughing. And sometimes I get ready to go on a Wednesday night. I get to do the announcements. And I just stand there and just listen. And it's kind of sad when, it's time to get going. But I love that interaction. I love the sound of people fellowshipping with another. We need to make sure that in the spiritual battle we've got each other's sixes. But there are some hindrances. There are challenges, you want to say. Discouragement. Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, and a tender heart, and a humble mind. Humble mind. So you need to have unity of mind. We're all the same mind. And then we have sympathy for each other. And even, I'll say, empathy. What's the difference between sympathy and empathy?
One is to feel sorry for them, one is to relate to others.
Yeah, feel for them. One is to feel sorry for them, and one is to relate there instead, or feel for them. Empathy is feeling for someone. Sympathy is feeling bad for someone. We need to have both. We need to have both. And then brotherly love. What is brotherly love? You can look up so many scriptures. Brotherly love encourages. Brotherly love is patient. It's kind. It's forbearing. And a tender heart. I heard several years ago from a man. We were talking about some people who were suffering, but this man was saying they deserve it. And his teenage boy was standing next to him. He said they deserve it. They're getting what was coming for them, and it doesn't matter to me. I'm glad they're suffering. And that teenage boy said, "Yeah, that sounds like how Jesus thinks." And he got him. But that's right. Tender-heartedness. We've got to have that. We cry when we pray, because that's a tender-hearted person. Like Paul. Paul, that's what I was thinking about. When tender hearts cry for each other. Tender hearts hold each other, and they try to relate to that. Hindrances. Also, feeling insignificant. I don't make a difference. The whole body joined and knit together by what every joint supplies, according to the effective working by which every part does its share, causes what? The growth of the body for the edifying or building up of itself in love. Look at this scripture, and then evaluate your life. Because when I read this scripture, I think, sometimes I isolate myself and I just take a stitch out of the church. But we can't do that. Or sometimes we mess up and we don't take care of it. So we put a little dot in the weaving. We want to grow and we want to edify each other in love. And so that's how they do that, feeling insignificant. But there are blessings. Strong faith is contagious. 1 Corinthians, Paul, imitate me as I also imitate Christ. You can also look at that as a domino effect as well. The reverse domino effect. And sometimes faith is contagious. I think maybe not sometimes. It always is. Strong faith is contagious. How many people have people in your lives? How many of you all have people in your lives you can think of, I look up to them because they're so spiritually strong. I look up to them because they're a spiritual mentor, so to speak. I might not have to talk to them, but I'm watching them. Because strong faith is contagious. I want to be like them. I want to have their mindset. I want to have their patience. I want to have their love. I want to put up with people like they do. I want to accept people like they do. My mother-in-law is incredible at this. A person can walk in and we might have grudges against them. We might, because we know their personality, and she'll meet them. And she might know the dirt, but she'll come up and say something like, sometimes, "Oh, I love your smile. I love the color of your eyes. I love the way that you laugh. I love your laugh." And she will find something. She will find something good about that person and communicate that. That to me is strong faith, and it is contagious, or at least it should be. Because I get caught up in looking at them, and all I see are the flaws. All I see are the flaws. Imitate me. Honoring God together benefits. Psalm 34, 1 through 3. Let's go over there. Almost. Psalm 34, 1 through 3. We honor God when we get together, and He's glorified. He's glorified when His people are unified. Psalm 34, 1 through 3. I will bless the Lord at all times. At all times. His praise shall continually be on my mouth. My soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad. For me, Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. Together. Spiritually courageous, spiritually connected. Being there for each other. I don't know how long we have. It's 10:37. We have more minutes. When do we leave? When do we get over?
Usually about between 10:45 and 10:50.
Well, we're going to end early. And that's okay. And I have some questions too. But we need to be flame stirrers. We need to stir up the coals and fan that flame. And there is a fire. There is a fire in the people of God that needs to be burning consistently and brightly. And we are the flames. We are the coals. And we need to love good works. But that fire doesn't burn itself. There has to be fuel, right? There has to be fuel, and that comes in different things. So we speak life instead of gossip. We speak about the wonderful things of life and the people in our life. We serve one another. We don't sit on the sidelines. And then we show up. We don't disappear in the background. There are people in every congregation that leave sometimes even before the final prayer. And I've known people who have said, I just don't feel accepted. And yet they never stay after services to feel accepted. And so we don't need to be sitting on the sideline. Think about this. Who can you stir this week? Who can you? You've already stirred us in welcoming us. What words can you say? Which way can you serve? In which ways can you serve? And where will you show up? What's to you? Let's talk about this individually. Who are the flame fanners in your lives? Like, who can you think of throughout the years? Doesn't have to be now, but throughout the years, who have fanned your flames? And you don't have to use their names or whatever, but I've talked about Joanne Criswell. She's a flame fanner. Anyone else? And I talked about my mother-in-law. Same thing. But do you have those people in your lives? Yes or no? Have you had those people?
I'll use names.
Huh?
I'll use names. Daryl and his wife are really good about, you're talking about it. I think it's a good thing to tell someone, I'm here for you, or just let me know what you need. But a lot of us are never going to go and let someone know what we need. It's hard for us to ask for help. We don't like to do that. And so they're really good about saying, I'm going to do this for you. Not like, do you need anything? But I'm coming, I'm going to do this for you, and here you go. And for some of us, like, that's what we need. We need that help, but we're just not going to ask for it. And so that motivates me to not just tell someone, I'm here if you need me, but I'm going to do this for you, and just
And sometimes it's uncomfortable to let them do that, but Daryl's so stubborn. You say, no, you don't need to. It's good. I'm good. Okay, what time do I need to be there? And you're not going to dissuade him. Who else? People like that. What are people? Let's ask this. Maybe not specifically, but what are fan flamers like? Give like their personalities.
I don't know exactly how to peg the personality, but there are some people you can feel as low as you think is possible. And all it takes is for them to walk into the room. Nothing is said. Sometimes nothing has to be said. All it takes is to see them. And the mood changes, and the burden, whatever burden is on you, is suddenly lifted. And that's powerful. To have that happen without any words spoken. Just the sight of them. It just changes the entire mood.
Their demeanor changes your demeanor. That's nice. What else? What are some other characteristics of fan flamers?
I think their hearts are overflowing with love.
And
they just have so much to give. And you can feel that warmth from it. And I think that's kind of the sparks.
Overflowing with love. I love peripheral servers. talked about that at camp last week. A peripheral servant for me is someone who can we bring food to you? That's awesome. Food chains, trains, or I don't know what you call it. Anyway, that's awesome. But someone might see, oh man, I'll mow your lawn. Or just peripheral things that you would not have thought of to serve in those ways. And I'm like, wow, no one, just little things. I've seen a couple of people, several people throughout the years who just think outside of the box as far as serving someone. I love that. Are you thinking of someone? You're smiling.
No, sorry, I was thinking about
You should.
I've been thinking, like, as we went through this whole lesson, the more that we focus on lifting other people up and encouraging other people, the less we have time to focus on ourselves and what's wrong in our lives. And so I think, I think God wants us to do this for each other and to serve each other, but I think He also gives us that benefit that it shifts our mindset. Instead of always me, what can I do for that person? So there's like a double blessing for whoever you're doing it for, but also you get the joy of serving too.
You set yourself aside and go do things, and you come back and you're like, wasn't that bad to begin with? You leave strengthened, sometimes more strengthened than you leave them. Any other thought?
Saying, don't steal my joy.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, Amy's brother, is one of the most generous people that I've ever met. And if he has $10, he'll try to find 12 for you. But he's just so generous, and sometimes he's had to help me or wanting to help me or us, and I'll, Kevin, you don't have to do this, and he'll just go, Troy, don't steal my joy. Don't steal my joy. And I love that attitude. Well, thanks, y'all, for paying attention and for the discussion. We can meander. Make the sound of fellowship.